Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're setting off on a journey. But it's more than just travel, isn't it? It's about a deep personal transformation.
Exactly. We're diving into a really personal story today, tracing a path from China all the way to America.
And it feels like more than just a travelogue.
Oh, absolutely. It's packed with, courage, significant change, and that universal search for dreams we all kind of connect with.
Right, so our mission really is to unpack the key moments, the insights, maybe some surprising observations.
And those universal lessons, yeah.
Yeah.
The ones hidden in this story about crossing cultures and finding yourself. We're hunting for those aha moments.
Those moments that really show us what it means to bridge different worlds and, I guess, build a new home somewhere else. So, okay, to get this, where does the journey actually begin? Let's start at the roots.
It starts in China. The narrative really takes us back to those formative years. It asks us to imagine a city where history lives in every alleyway.
I love that description.
Yeah, and the smell of fresh dumplings mixes with the sound of street vendors. It just puts you right there.
It really does. It paints such a strong picture of the environment, the atmosphere that shaped this person early on.
And you immediately get a sense of the cultural values. Family is central. Hugely important.
That comes through loud and clear. It feels foundational. And alongside family, there's this emphasis on education being the path to success.
Right. And when you think about it, those two things together, family and education, they really highlight this deep respect for tradition, for lineage, but also for striving, for getting ahead through learning.
And how did dreams fit into that? The narrative describes them in a really interesting way.
Yeah, it says they were kept safe in your heart until you were brave enough to share them, not shouted from the rooftops.
Which is quite different from, how ambition might be expressed elsewhere. It suggests a kind of quiet determination.
Exactly. A mix of maybe personal ambition, but also a sort of private resolve. It wasn't casual.
So that internal process, keeping those dreams close, did that maybe intensify the curiosity, that pull, as the narrative calls it, towards something beyond?
I think it must have.
Yeah.
It suggests the desire to explore wasn't just a whim. It was something deeply considered, growing internally, even when life was, presumably quite rooted and stable there.
Which makes the decision to actually leave even more significant.
Immense. And the narrative is very clear. This wasn't easy. It was a huge step.
And America. It wasn't just a place on a map, was it? It was loaded with meaning.
Completely. It became the symbol. Freedom, opportunity, a chance to write my own story. That's a lot for one place to represent.
It really is. And it shows how moving, emigrating, it's often as much symbolic as it is physical.
And the packing. The narrative describes that so powerfully. How every single item packed felt like a piece of home.
Yeah, mentioning specific things like my mother's scarf, a small photo of my family, a book I had read 100 times.
Those details just anchor you. They're not just things, they're connections, talismans almost, to a life being left behind, at least for a while.
You really feel the weight of that departure. And it wasn't just felt by the person leaving, right? The parents' reaction is mentioned too.
Yes, that mix of pride, but also that worry in their eyes. They knew this was a step into the unknown.
That duality, pride and worry, it sort of amplifies the courage involved, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows it wasn't just a personal gamble, but something that affected the whole family. Their hopes, their fears, all tied up in this one person's journey.
Which sets the stage perfectly for what happens next, actually arriving and navigating this completely new landscape.
And wow, what a contrast. The first impression described as just scale. Everything felt bigger. The roads, the buildings, even the sky seemed wider.
You can almost feel that sense of being overwhelmed just by the physical space.
Exactly. It's like the culture shock starts before anyone even speaks. Just the sheer size of things contributes to feeling totally out of place.
And then the cultural differences kick in.
Oh, yeah. That observation about people smiling at strangers and asking, "How are you?"
And sometimes they even meant it. That's such a telling detail.
It really is. It points to a whole different way of interacting, maybe more outward, which must have been both fascinating and maybe a bit confusing at first.
Definitely. And alongside those observations, there were real struggles. The language barrier, the loneliness, those are tough.
Very tough. And the detail about missing Chinese food so much.
That instant noodles became my late night comfort.
It's such a small thing, but it says so much about missing the familiar, the comforting, trying to find a little piece of home in, well, packet of noodles.
It captures that sense of loss so well. But the story doesn't just stay there in the struggle.
No, it moves towards adaptation. But slowly, I learned the language, the culture.
And learn that home can be built anywhere, which is a powerful shift.
It is. It's not just about surviving. It's about actively building, creating a sense of belonging.
And that leads us to the bigger lessons, the core insights from this whole experience. The narrative sums it up as, change is not just about geography, it's about growth.
Yeah, I love that framing. It shifts everything inward. It's not just about where you are, but who you become because of the journey.
So what are the signs of that internal growth in the story?
Well, one key thing mentioned is learning resilience when things didn't go as planned. That's huge.
More than just bouncing back.
I think so. It sounds like developing this inner core, this strength that changes how you face challenges later on. Like, difficulties aren't just obstacles, they become part of your foundation.
That makes sense. And it wasn't just about finding strength within, right? Connection seems really important too.
Absolutely. The idea that friendships can bridge any cultural gap. That's critical.
Especially when you're feeling isolated in a new place.
Exactly. Connection is the antidote. And what's really interesting is how this leads to an evolution of identity.
Ah, right. The narrative says, my identity is not divided between two countries. It's a beautiful maze of both.
Yes. It's not about being torn or having to choose. It's about synthesis. Creating something new and richer from all the experiences.
A blend.
A beautiful blend.
Yeah.
It really speaks to how these cross-cultural journeys can genuinely transform you, forging new perspectives.
So looking back, the feeling is one of accomplishment. How far I've come, but also still looking forward.
And how much more there is to explore. It's not like the journey's over. Growth is ongoing.
It really feels like it. This whole deep dive just into one person's story, it tells us so much about how these journeys, physical, cultural, shape us.
They really do. They shape our resilience, our sense of self, our whole identity in profound ways.
And for you listening, maybe you haven't moved across the globe, but that feeling of change, of navigating something unknown, that's pretty universal, isn't it?
Totally. And the story reminds us it's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel lost.
Because sometimes that's exactly how you find yourself. Such a powerful thought.
It really lands.
Yeah.
Because it shows that the places, the ones we leave behind, the ones we arrive in, they aren't just locations.
They shape our inner world, our internal landscape.
Precisely.
So the question we want to leave you with today is something to maybe chew on. How do the places we leave and the places we arrive at shape the true geography of who we become?